Happy New Year! Hi guys, it's 2026. What the fuck? Oh my god, okay, so many things. So first off, congratulations if you survived the holidays with your families. Yeah, big accomplishment. I feel like the holidays get a little bit weirder as you get older, and I'm sure it gets probably even weirder when you have your own kids and your own family and so on and so forth. But like, I feel like I always have to preface this. I love my parents. I love my mom. I love you guys. But it is very hard during the holidays being under the same roof as your family, especially if you've moved away. When you've gotten so accustomed to kind of like almost being selfish in your own home or just being selfish in your own lane, and you go home and you stay with your family. My parents came out to see me. This is the second Christmas in a row. It is a weird adjustment because it's kind of like traveling with somebody again for the first time, where you're under the same roof again. So you're seeing in real time how they travel, their routine, their opinions, how they do things. And that's a very strange dynamic. I will say too, if you're an only child, I'm sure you are feeling this, or if not, you probably will at some point. The holidays begin to get a little bit more morbid as you get older, because I think just as you grow older, right, the holidays, how short life is, kind of hits you like a freight train as you get older, and you're like, oh shit, they really meant it when they said life was short. And especially if you live away from your family, in your mind you're like, oh well, I see them every Christmas, and I see them every summer, and I see them every whatever it is, but realistically that's only a few times a year, and in reality there's only X amount of years left. And I think that's a hard dynamic, because I, as an only child, I loved being an only child, and I still do love being an only child. I think being an only child is a huge reason why I am the way that I am. I think it's why I have the work ethic that I do. I think it's why I'm very independent. I think it's why I have always just been okay being alone, which I think is a great quality to have as you get older, because the reality is you're not always going to be able to be surrounded by people, and you have to learn how to be okay being alone. However, on the flip side of that, the older I get, the more I'm like, damn, one day it's going to be really hard being an only child. And I think it's made me think about, okay, if I have kids, I think I would want at least two, because although, again, being an only child was amazing, there's going to come a day where it's going to fucking suck, because so much falls on you. And I'm really feeling the weight of that as I get older. I have a very small family. Obviously, my parents are getting older. That's kind of how time works. I'm getting older. I'm seeing them less. I'm getting busier. And then I'm constantly going through this stress of, I want to see them, and I want to see them more often, and I want to take advantage of the fact that I don't get to see them that much, and I really want to cherish those moments, and I feel guilty when I feel frustrated about seeing them. But then on the flip side, it's like, okay, well, where's the boundary in regards to like, this is my life now. I need to build my foundation. I have a job. I can't just like fuck off and go to Boston every month. It's a weird thing. And then as people get sick, as people get older, as things happen, you're like, damn, my life one day might just get totally uprooted overnight. And me being a fucking basket case, that's what I think about at 2 a.m. I'm like, oh my God, what if like I get a call and I need to do something and it's just me? And granted, that's why it's really important, especially as an only child, that you have like core people in your life that you can lean on. But it like, when you grow up with a sibling, there's nobody that compares to that, because your sibling knows exactly what you're living and what you're going through. I did see a really interesting, a therapist had posted a clip that I thought was really interesting for anybody that does have siblings, but it talked about how there are no siblings that have the same parents. Meaning, if I had a sister, me and my sister would not have the same parents, because based on if you're the first child or the second child or the third child, your parents are going to be different. Your parents were a very different age when they had the first, the second, and the third child, right? So they've gone through more experiences that are going to shape that kid's life very differently. There's going to be a different version of your parents that you and your siblings are going to have. Sure, inevitably. However, I think that if you go through a trauma in your family, or if you go through a win or a loss or whatever it is nice to have somebody really that's like in your lane that knows what you're going through. So the holidays are fucking weird. And then it's just like holiday, New Year. And then there's so much pressure at the new year to be like the best version of yourself and have all your shit figured out and like start a clean, fresh fucking slate or whatever it is. But the reality is, after the fucking holidays, I'm the worst version of myself. I was just eating like shit. I was sleeping in. I had no motivation. So I think it's a very bittersweet time of year. Nevertheless, we fucking made it. If you remember, I promise this is not going to be a full episode talking about family and bashing my parents, because I do love them. But if you remember that episode that I talked about how my parents are absolutely the world's worst fucking travelers, let me jog your memory. When my parents come out to visit me now, I cap it. They don't listen to me, but I cap it. Hey, based on how many days that you're coming to visit me, a certain percentage you get to go to the store. You're coming out for 5 days, you only get to go to the store a day and a half or 1.5 times, meaning you can go to the grocery store and then you can stop at like the supplement store. Okay, we're not doing like every single fucking day doing a grocery haul, because that's what happens. I don't know what it is. Like when my parents hear the words going to the store, does anybody need anything? They fucking spawn out of nowhere, right? Like they'll be downstairs and Shane will be like running to the store and my dad's like, oh, I'm coming. Like it's ridiculous. And then what ends up happening is I joked about this, but I think it's accurate. I think my parents' dream vacation is they would book a 7-day vacation and just run errands for 7 days. Mainly my mom, but my dad also just gets like weirdly antsy. So I can feel it whenever they come. They're just chomping at the bit to get to the fucking store. They just are waiting for somebody to run out of paper towels or need to go pick up butter or need to go put gas in the car, and they are fucking there. It is a party, right? So I set a cap now. I'm like, you guys only get to go. Not me, Shane. Shane grocery shops for them before they come. I say, submit what you need in the house. We're going to get everything. That way, when you get here, there's only so many things you need. Whatever. So the first time or 2 times ago when my dad came out, Shane went to the store. Shane was like, I need to run to the store to get something. And my dad was like, I'm coming. And Shane was like, okay. They go to the store. Shane gets butter or whatever the fuck he's getting, right? He goes to check out. He's like, your dad was lingering over the key lime table. Yeah, key limes. I don't really know what the difference between key limes and limes are. Nevertheless, there was a whole section of the produce dedicated to key limes, and you best believe my dad was front and center. He's like, your dad was picking up every single key lime and picking it up and squeezing it and putting it down, finding the perfect key limes. He's like, I didn't want to interrupt him because he was in a flow state. My dad got 12 key limes that day. When my dad left my house several days later to take his little travel back to Massachusetts, there were still 12 fucking key limes in my house. I take them, Shane and I fly to Massachusetts. We do a weekend on Cape Cod, 48 hours. Okay, I fly to Logan Airport. That's a 5.5-hour flight. I get in a car. I drive 2 hours to spend 48 hours on the Cape to then fly back. Do you know, in the 48 hours that we were in the Cape, my parents went to the store 4 times? 4 times. We went with my aunt and uncle. They already went grocery shopping. They bought a bunch of food. My parents bought a bunch of stuff, and they still went to the store. My parents don't understand Airbnbs, bless their heart. Before this Airbnb, my mom was calling me like, hey, so do I have to bring sheets? No, Mom. It's kind of like the whole point of the Airbnb. You don't need to bring sheets. Okay, well, should I bring pans? Nope. You know what, Ma? Yeah, bring pans. Pack a suitcase and put your little fucking soup pan in there. Do it. We get to the house and my dad starts aggressively opening cabinets. And I go, what are you looking for? He goes, I'm trying to find a NutriBullet sidebar, never seen my dad use a NutriBullet. I've never not only seen him, I've never seen him be so passionate about a blender. I said, all right, Dad, well, let's look at the amenity list on the Airbnb app that I fucking sent you 2 weeks ago. Oh, look at that. It says that there's a blender, so I'm sure there's one here. You know what? I'm just going to go to the store and buy one. I need one anyway. You're going to go make an impulsive $250 purchase right now? And my mom goes, he already has a NutriBullet. He doesn't use it. I go, hold on. You're going to buy a second NutriBullet right now on our 48-hour trip to the Cape. So all of that to say, trash at fucking traveling. My dad gets here. I'm waiting for it this time. Now I'm like really on edge. My dad comes and I'm noticing every day, I always have ginger ale stocked in my fridge. God forbid a girl gets nauseous. Okay. I'm a nauseous girly. It's one of my favorite beverages. I always have my fridge stocked with ginger ale. Now those ginger ales, they usually last a little bit because I'm not drinking ginger ale every day. My dad starts coming up from downstairs every day. He goes right to the fridge and he cracks open a ginger ale. I'm like, what's going on? I've never seen my dad drink a ginger ale. It's becoming a daily thing. He's coming up the stairs in the morning. He's grabbing a ginger ale. I go, this fucking bastard. I know what he's doing. What do you think he does when he cracks open that final ginger ale? He goes, just drank your last ginger ale. Gonna have to go to the store and restock. I said, no, you will not. I'm gonna fucking DoorDash them. Okay. When my parents were here, it's always a shit show. Like I pride myself on planning like a really great week and then something just always goes to shit. It's kind of part of our lore. We always book one Christmas activity that always ends up being a major fucking flop. And every year I think that I will be able to filter through what kind of bullshit Christmas events are happening in LA. There was this thing called like Enchantment LA. First of all, it was like a 50-minute drive. Okay, but I'm really like, guys, I think this is the final boss of Christmas activities in Los Angeles. I think this is the one to be at. Okay. Buy like the VIP tickets. It's the biggest, it's like in the country is like the biggest light show. I don't fucking know whatever marketing verbiage they used, but I fell for it. We got there. This was a fucking shit show. They had this maze where you had to like go into this outdoor maze and find the 12 stars. You want to talk about, if you were to say, okay, Christina, if you were to fucking die and go to hell, what does that look like? It was the Enchantment Maze. It was the Enchantment Maze. I was so over stimmy, okay, because you're walking around in a sea of people in a maze. I wasn't looking for the stars. I was just trying to get out. You could not find the exit. I said, this is purgatory. I am one step away from going to hell. I am in a holding cell right now. This is fucking terrible. Like it was fucking terrible. It was just a bunch of kids running around, screaming, eating fair food and flashing lights. I was so pissed. And that was night one. Then there's an ice skating rink there that I buy tickets for all of us to go, thinking that like, we're a big ice skating family. My dad played hockey. I ended up playing hockey. I ended up figure skating before that. My mom was a figure skater, big skating fan. We kind of almost always go skating. There was a skating rink there. I buy the tickets. We go there. We're so fed up with this fucking enchantment place. My dad's like, let's just go to the fucking King's rink at a different time and fuck this shit. Okay, great. We leave there. Christmas Eve, we go to Sunset Tower. Beautiful dinner. Very expensive dinner. And my parents are in a heated blowout. Sunset Tower, if you know anything about it, if you were to say like, hey, what's one thing about Sunset Tower? It would probably be like, hey, not a place to like have arguments because it's like so swanky and like anybody is there and probably listening to you because the tables are right next to each other and my parents are in a fucking blowout. I want to crawl inside my skin and die. I've never wanted to crawl inside my skin and die more than Christmas Eve. It was just a clusterfuck of things. Next morning, we're like, okay, we're going to go skating. My dad, the rental skates that they give you have toe picks, which if you use hockey skates, you can't use those because that's what figure skaters use and it's just you use your toe different. Doesn't matter. Dad ends up eating shit on the ice so bad, lands full speed on his knee. We almost have to go to urgent care. I'm like, can this get any worse? Okay. It's fine. We get through that. Nobody goes to urgent care. Christmas Day comes. We have a fabulous Christmas Day. We're sitting, we're drinking, we're eating, we're having a great time. It's so nice. My dad's diet has changed over the past couple years. He doesn't really drink. There are certain foods that he doesn't eat. He's going off the board. He's drinking those things. He's eating those things. The next morning, he wakes up. What does he do? He walks over to the ginger ale. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I feel really nauseous. And my mom starts badgering him because that's what you want when you don't feel good. You want somebody badgering you. So my dad doesn't feel good. And my mom's like, well, that's what you get. She's going to fucking kill me for this. That's what you get for going off the board and eating all this and drinking all this. That's what you get. And he's like, okay. Ends up violently puking downstairs for the whole day. And my mom's upstairs just being like, kind of like, that's like, my mom is like feeling herself because she's like, I told him, that's what you get. I go, hey mom, I think maybe he might be sick. Like, I think he might have like the freaking neurovirus or the flu or something. She's like, no, it's because he ate all that stuff and he drank all that stuff. Okay. Then he's like still puking. We all go out. I'm like, guys, you think it's okay to leave him? She's like, he's fine. We all go out. I'm like, I don't know, Ma. I think he might be ill. She's like, he's not ill. Survives that. The next day they leave. What happens to little Miss Carmela the second she lands in Boston? She's puking her little brains out. And I said, Mom, I think that might be karma. So we had quite a fun Christmas break. On to New Year's and New Year's resolutions, because I did write some things down because I'm, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. I actually have a list of I feel like every year we like come up with a New Year's resolution because we feel like we have to. And a lot of times it's like, I want to work out more. And then you go to the gym on January 1st and it's slammed and it's people just kind of checking their box and then they eventually fall off. This year I was like, I want a resolution that I can like actively work towards, that I can see progress with. And I want it to be for me. I don't want it to be because it sounds like the nice thing. I just want it to be something that like is actually in my wheelhouse that I think would make a big difference. So I want to be more present in my life, which sounds like an easy thing to do. And I'm going to explain what I mean with that. I want to be intentional and I want to take pauses. And the last 2 years, I've just done so much reflecting. I have hit all of these crazy monumental moments, specifically in my career and personally, just personal growth. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't enjoyed any of them. My brain has been so hardwired to not, like, it's less about the journey and more about the thing that you achieve at the end of the journey. So once I get it, or whatever it is, or accomplish whatever it is, my brain is so hardwired to be like, okay, I hit it, next level. And then I just keep moving the goalpost. And I fear longevity-wise, it's going to get to a point where it's not going to matter what I achieve or what I do if I'm not actually taking a second to be present with it. And the only reason why, honestly, I realized that was because this past Christmas break, if you guys know anything about me, I am a workhorse. I think this job in particular can be as hard as you want it to be. And I definitely am on the end of the spectrum where I'm like, I want to do everything. I want to work really hard. I want to own 6 businesses and try. Like, that's how I've been my entire life. This Christmas break, my intention was I wanted to try to be bored. Try doing that. When was the last time you were like fucking bored? I can't remember the last time I was bored. Even when I wasn't employed, there's never been a moment where I have been bored because I'm so good at finding something to do to override that boredness, which is great. And I think also that's a huge part of being an only child too, right? But I think it's really important to learn how to be bored. And unfortunately, when we have these phones and screens around us 24/7, that's how we avoid boredom. Because if I'm sitting there and I'm waiting at the doctor's or I'm pumping gas, that's 3 minutes that I will override that boredom by grabbing my phone. In my case, it's doing something work related to bypass that boredom. So my goal was, I want to be bored again. I want to remember what that feels like. And I just want to get so fucking bored that by the end of this trip, I'm so inspired to work again. And I did that. I like actually made myself pretty fucking bored. If you follow me on social, you saw my journey of, I got like a bedazzling kit when I was in Turks and Caicos. I ordered it. And for like the first week of break, I bedazzled almost every single fucking item that I used every day. And why I recommend something like that is because you can't be on your phone. Like, and to be honest, like I would have the TV on in the background. Rarely did I ever look up and even look at the TV because you have to be so laser focused on what you're doing. I think anything that you can do with your hands that's an activity is a really good way to force yourself to get off your phone, especially if you're like me and you're addicted to this thing. Sometimes I have to do something that like genuinely, like it's really hard for me to go on a walk and have my phone on me. I have to leave it at home. I don't have the willpower, and maybe not even the willpower. It's just so habitual that when there's a moment of steadiness and this phone is near me, I gravitate towards it. So at least with doing something with my hands where I was bedazzling, some of those things that I was gemming took me 4 or 5 hours. That was 4 or 5 hours that I was not looking at my phone, which actually was quite great because after that I was like, oh my God, I'm so fucking bored. So anyway, that was my goal. I achieved it. I was bored. I wrote, I'm high, and when I'm high, I kind of like try to verbalize what I want in ways that like I understand. And I wrote, it's not so much about slowing down because the pace at which I work, I don't want to change. It's just integration. I want my life to actually catch up to my success. I feel like I have built my whole life around my success, and then my personal life, it doesn't really get that much attention, and that's fine. I think that there's seasons. If you're an entrepreneur or a creator or an artist or a really work-driven person, that's just kind of par for the course. Like there has to be those seasons in which you kind of lose yourself a little bit and you put everything into your business or your craft or your art or your hobby, whatever it is. And I've had that for the past 10 years. And now I'm reaching a point where it's not burnout. It's actually the opposite. I'm so inspired. I'm really proud of myself. And the only way I've been able to be proud of myself is to be bored. Because that's been the only moment that I've been able to take a second and be like, holy shit, look at all the cool shit I did this year because I worked my fucking ass off. I need to be able to enjoy that. What's the point of life if I don't enjoy that? What's the point of working really hard and making money if I never take a vacation? What's the point of missing all of these events in my life if I don't be intentional about creating other events and moments in my life and celebrations? Right now, I am chasing dopamine hits because my brain is wired to chase the next thing. I think that's the case for a lot of creators and ambitious people, right? Like these are dopamine hits. Also, like the reality is working in social media, my entire job is one big dopamine hit. Shane said that to me one day and I was like, whoa, you're so right. You know, you post a video, it goes viral, you get a lot of great comments, dopamine hit. Okay, what's the next dopamine hit? A PR package comes to your house of something you really like, boom, dopamine hit. And then it's like, with what we do, it's really high highs and then really low lows. There's never a middle ground because it's either like, I'm at an event, my video went viral, I got my dream brand deal, or it's I'm at home, I'm burnt out, it's been 3 days, I haven't left, I'm not taking care of myself, I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating properly, I'm not working out. So it's like these very high highs and low lows. But I feel like if I can also create a middle, it'll put less pressure on those highs and less pressure on those lows. The issue is dopamine for me is coming from the anticipation, not the arrival. So accomplishments register for about 5 seconds before my mind moves on to the next thing. Over time, that is creating a weird disconnect where you're doing so well on paper, but you're not feeling it. And that's what I'm going through right now, right? Like the journey is the really cool fucking thing, but my dopamine only registers the end of the journey, and then you achieve it and then you just feel really lost. I think in order to I think it takes like 30 days to rewire your brain or to make something a habit. I think I just need to rewire my brain. And I think if I spend moments to let things actually land, it will teach my brain that what I just did actually mattered. I think I'm teaching my brain that these huge accomplishments don't really mean anything. And I think that in order to honestly gaslight my brain into knowing that the cool thing that I just did was really cool is to like enjoy the moment after it a little bit. I'll give you an example. What I did the other day, which is something I would never do. I had a voiceover job in the morning. I had to be up very early, which I had to be up at six in the morning, which sidebar, that's what time I usually wake up during the workday because there's just so much work to be done and I like to be up early to do it. But after Christmas break, I was honestly sleeping the latest I've slept in years. I was sleeping till like 8:39 on some days. So waking up at 6 a.m. the Tuesday after Christmas break was really hard. But I'm so happy I did it because now I'm back and I feel like I can wake up early again. And honestly, if you're struggling with feeling lost or directionless, force yourself to get up early in the morning. There really is something about it that just like restructures your whole day and your mindset. And if that allows you to have like 30 minutes to yourself in the morning, I swear to God, it changes the whole trajectory of your day. I woke up early. I went to this voiceover job and I had to be back. I have like this week, I have like 12 brand deals. I have a fuck ton of meetings. Like this week obviously is a little crazy because we just had these 2 weeks off. I had so much that I needed to do. And I was driving back and I could have been back in 10 minutes. And I was like, I'm actually going to go out of my way and I'm going to drive along the beach. It ended up taking me 35 minutes to get home. And I like opened my sunroof. At this point, it was like 9 a.m. And I rode along the beach and I just like didn't think about work. I didn't think about the fact that I had all these deadlines. I kind of just, I don't know, took a detour and like drove with the windows down. And that was also a little bit of a way to celebrate. I just did this like voiceover job. That's really cool. And instead of going from this and immediately going home and shooting all this stuff and getting on a call and doing whatever, why don't I just let this moment sink in for even just 30 minutes? And listen, that's not always the reality, right? Like if you work a job, there are certain parameters that you need to follow. You don't get to send an email and then be like, okay, I'm going to go get a coffee. I sent one email today. Like be so fucking for real about it. But if you are somebody that has a really, really, really hard time celebrating yourself or just taking a minute to slow down, finding those little moments like that, I was in the best mood yesterday. And which is crazy because I actually am really fucking stressed right now. Like I have so much that I need to do and it's hard for me to get back into it. But I think just setting up my day like that made me feel so good. And that was kind of the proof that I need to do more of that. The other thing that I want to do that is very similar to that is I want to be more self-sufficient with things that are outside of work. And this is a little bit of a nuanced thing. But again, anybody that is an entrepreneur or wants to work for themselves or is a creative or whatever it is will resonate with this. I am the most sufficient person in my world at my job, right? Like I sacrifice, like my work always comes first. And I think that's why I've been able to kind of achieve these moments is because I've sacrificed so much personally in relationships with my family, I've just sacrificed everything to be doing what I'm doing. I think that when you want, like I'm at the point in my career where I have to delegate. There's no way I could operate how I'm operating right now and not delegate. There's no way I could do what I'm doing without a team right now. There's no way I could, but I wouldn't grow. I would just stay very one tone, right? If I wasn't delegating, I could continue to do exactly what I'm doing right now, but I fear it would look exactly like this indefinitely. I think as a business owner, I think as, you know, when you are in charge of your own brand, especially as a woman, it's very hard because you have to learn to delegate. But then I think sometimes we delegate so much that we lose a little bit of that self-sufficiency in our personal life. What I mean by that is everything gets dumped into my work right now. And the things in my personal life have been delegated. So I know they're being taken care of. The issue is all of my achievements right now are work and career based. And I had this moment because every morning I make the bed. Every morning. There will never be a day. I don't care if I have to be out of the door at 2 a.m. There will never be a day where my bed isn't made. And honestly, you should make your fucking bed. At the very least, you should make your fucking bed. I know you don't want to. I know it sucks. Make your fucking bed every single day. Start your day showing yourself that you can fucking clean up where you just rested. Make your fucking bed every day. And if you're not doing it, try making your bed every single morning for a week. I promise you're going to feel 10 times better. I made my bed. I sprayed my linen spray. I cracked my window and I looked at my bed and I was like, oh my God, everything looks really peaceful in my room right now. And I felt like accomplished. Like it's 6:30 in the morning. My bed is already made. My sheets are already clean. That feels good. That's like a great way to start the day. How can I achieve more of that outside of just work to alleviate the stress that I put on those work achievements? My only achievements in life shouldn't be career based. And granted, I do things personally that make me feel achieved. I've stuck with martial arts for over 10 years. I do that every single week. I have been learning a new language for 965 days or something. I have those little things, but I want more of them because they feel really good. Shane's not feeling very well right now, and we have a really good system. There's things in the house that he's responsible for, and there's things in the house that I'm responsible for. And we just do those tasks kind of no matter what. And it works wonderful for our relationship. Like, Shane is very fucking clean. I never have to have a conversation with that man about him not being clean. Like, the kitchen is his territory. He cooks, he cleans, and then after he cleans, he does the countertops. Like, he does that. Yesterday, he wasn't feeling really well, and I ate dinner, and then I was like, I'm gonna clean the kitchen because I haven't done it in forever. And he's not feeling great, and now is a great opportunity. I'm just gonna clean the kitchen. And I cleaned the kitchen, and I was like, damn, that feels so nice. I just finished cleaning up the kitchen. I'm gonna go take a shower. So I think just allowing myself to do more things like that and those little wins personally, that way I'm not putting so much pressure on these huge career moments. I don't want my career wins to be the only successes that I'm feeling throughout the day, because the successes that you feel and the successes that you should be proud of shouldn't just be giant fucking pipe dreams. You should feel proud about the fact that you got out of bed at 6 a.m. You should feel proud about the fact that even though you felt like fucking dog shit, you made your bed. You should be proud about the fact that you got a car wash and put gas in your car and drove by the beach. Like, life fucking is hard. And there are days where we don't want to leave our house, never mind, tidy up after ourselves. And I think that if you can be proud of yourself for doing that, that's a huge win. And that's what I am going to try to do this year. Obviously, it's easier said than done because it's January fucking 7th. Check back in with me in March. Check back in with me at Q2. Hold on, I wrote some more other good things here about that because I feel like I articulated those things very well. Basically, I have built my life where my energy is optimized for output. So naturally, I have delegated anything that doesn't directly fuel my work, which is honestly necessary when running a business. In order to grow a business, you have to learn to delegate anything that doesn't need to be done by you. However, the trade-off is that competence has become siloed. I am highly capable in my career, but my brain doesn't get the same completion signals from everyday life. So it's not about doing more or rejecting help or doing everything for yourself. It's about choosing a few life domains where you get to be capable again. So I feel like it's selective self-sufficiency is what I want to do. And I think as humans, we love to be comfortable. And I think we need to have corners of our life where we're comfortable. But then I'm trying to remember that anytime I have a corner of my life that starts to feel a little bit too comfortable, it means it might be time for a little shakeup, a little like, let me re-challenge myself again. Let me prove to myself I can still do this task. I think especially as women, I think it is really important to have your own things that you don't have to rely on anybody else for. I think that's wildly important. I think it's important for everybody, but I think especially women, I think reminding yourself of the things that you can do without someone's help while also still being able to ask for help. But I think that's just an important tool to have in your little box. And then the last thing I wrote was, I want to feel capable in my life, not just successful in my work. I'm keeping delegation. I'm just reclaiming a few things for myself. The other fucking New Year's resolution that I'm struggling with is, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. I'm a Pisces. I'm never going to like lean on my horoscope as any of my behavior. Not that I think that horoscope shit is bullshit. However, I do think that we live in a day and age where people like use it as an excuse, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's because you're a Pisces." It's like, okay, no, that's because I'm like just a nice fucking person. You know, I think people are using it a little too like Bible, and that's fine. I think astrology is beautiful. I think with anything in life, it should not be a dogmatic approach. That's just me with everything across the board. Like, I look at the traits of what the little research I've done about my fucking astrology, horoscope, whatever, and I pick the things where I'm like, this resonates, this feels accurate, this maybe doesn't. I think like when people read their thing and they're like, my horoscope told me that I'm going to change career paths today, so I'm quitting my job. I'm like, oh, well, hold on a second, you know? But I will say, as a Pisces, a trait that I have that is very much in alignment with what I've read about said fishes is that we give people a lot of chances, and we give a lot of chances, and we give a lot of chances, more than what people actually deserve. And then one day you do us wrong and you're fucking dead to us. And we can be like the nicest people ever, but we can also be silent killers because we clock things, whether or not we tell you. I feel like we clock everything because we're very intuitive. There had been moments in my life where I gave people way more chances than they deserved. And I knew it in the moment. And then when you give people more chances than they deserve, it just makes it a lot harder for you in the end. And I think that Pisces give more chances because they see the good in people, because they want to believe that this person can make a change. But I think it's also because you're trying to bypass the confrontation. You're trying to bypass the really tricky, hard conversations. The reality is, the longer you put that off, the harder it's going to be. I saw a quote the other day that said, like, if you don't get off the train when you're supposed to, your ticket is just going to become more expensive. And I dealt with that a couple of times in 2025, where people or someone or some things very close to me, I gave them a lot of chances to do the right thing. And I like ride for my people. If you're in my life, if you're in my corner, I will ride for you. And then one day, if you really show me who you are, you're fucking dead to me. And I did that a couple times this year, where I gave people way more chances than they deserved. And I ended up being more fucked over at the end because I forgot that very simple rule, which is when people show you who they are, believe them. So, and I had another incident of me feeling like I was being taken advantage of, and I felt it and I didn't follow it. And now I'm angry. And now I have a lot of anger. And now you're seeing the worst version of me, where I want to chew people out and let them know what a fucking piece of shit they were. So I'm struggling with my approach right now for the new year. Because part of me is like, I don't want to let these things affect me. My new rule of thumb is, I'm going to continue to be a good person. I'm going to continue to go out of my way to do everything I can for the people in my life. And if they don't show up for me ever, then I need to learn how to just silently cut them out of my life and keep on moving and not let it affect me, not let it make me bitter, not let it change who I am. Just keep moving and cycle people out when they show me who they are. But then there's another part of me that's like, no, I want to be a fucking bitch. My new rule is when people show me who they are, I want to fucking let them know. I want to let them know that I'm mad. I want to let them know that I'm disappointed. I want to let them know that I did everything in my power to help them, because that's not something I did last year. So I'm kind of toying with that. Like, do I want to choose peace or violence? I don't have an answer for that yet. I would love to choose the former. I think that's the more sustainable route, is to accept the fact that people are going to let you down. People are going to fuck you over, and it is not worth it to let it impact who you are, how you see the world, or how you treat people. However, when somebody that you love and trust and would put your fucking neck out on the line for fucks you over, it is really hard not to be bitter. It's really hard not to be bitter. But I hold on to bitterness. So I need to, at the very least, find a way to get it out without totally becoming a mega cunt, you know? But yeah, that's where I'm at this year. I feel like I'm honestly really focused on just continuing to work hard and achieve the things that I want, and also just to enjoy life and enjoy things around me and like see the world outside of my job. And I'm so lucky that I do something that I love, but I think I just need to learn to kind of stop in the moment. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It doesn't need to be anything expensive. It doesn't need to be me going anywhere other than being right here in my house. But if I don't learn how to enjoy the things outside of my career, I really feel like I'm never going to enjoy life. And I have feared what they don't talk to you about is what happens when you achieve the things that you have spent your whole life wanting. It's a like, you never think about that, because before you achieve it, you just spend your whole time assuming you're never going to achieve it. You keep working towards it, but you kind of are like, yeah, the odds are not in my favor. I'm never going to achieve that thing. I'm going to keep working for it because I can't imagine doing anything else. But I have to know that like the odds of me doing the thing that I dreamt of is probably not going to happen. So then when it does happen, it is a really weird psychology that people don't talk about. And there's always more things. Like for me, I'm always going to have a laundry list of things that I want to achieve. Like I'll hit something and be like, great, I have a million other things. But psychologically, people don't really talk about when you spend years and years and years and years and years working towards something, and then you get it and you put so much emphasis on how sweet that thing was going to be. And then you get there and you're like, yeah, it's really sweet and it's really cool, but why does it not feel like as crazy as I thought it would? It's because all of the magic happened in that journey of getting there. You know, all of the like that was the time that you showed yourself what you could do. You showed yourself your resilience. You showed yourself your dedication, your secret skills and talents that you had no idea that you had, that started to come out when you started to work towards the thing that you loved, because working towards the thing that you love is what brings out the best version of yourself. That's where all the magic happens, you know? And if you focus so much on what the view is going to look like at the top, I hate to quote a fucking Miley Cyrus song, but like it's the fucking climb, baby, you know? Anyway, I love you guys. Happy New Year. Be kind to yourself this year, you know? It's a new slate. Don't put pressure on it. Don't fall into the gimmicky, getting a crazy gym membership and drinking green juices and waking up like find things that you can do this year that are actually sustainable, that you can do every day, that you can work towards every day, and give yourself a break. It's a new year. I love you guys. Again, if there's anything you want to talk about or any questions that you have or any guests that you would like to see, please make sure you DM or comment on the Life's a Joke pod socials. And I'll see you guys next week. I love you.